Have you been unsure about how to price your HVAC install jobs or your plumbing jobs or your electrical jobs or any home service industry job? Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it so you don't have to guess. You don't have to find out how much the other companies are charging or wonder if you're charging it right. You don't have to go in the Facebook groups and ask what people are charging. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. All right? Are you ready to get started? Do you want to get started? Let's get right into it. All right, now, if you purchase the Know Your Numbers course, you're going to be a little bit familiar with this. So, since this is a part of the Know Your Numbers course, you're going to be familiar with some of the other concepts in here. If you haven't watched the complete Know Your Numbers course, the link to that will be in the description. And if you want to use this pricing tool, the link to that is also in the description. All right, so let's get right into it. This is how you price your jobs. The only way to price a job is to know your actual cost. Normally what people do is they just price something and say, well, I think it should cost that much. Let's take a look and see what happens when we do that. All right, let's say we're changing out a heat pump, all right? And we say, well, I think it should cost about $9,500 because that's what people are doing in town, right? We're going to do it the wrong way and then see what happens, and then we'll do it the right way. Okay, so we're just going to throw a number there. All right, what we need to do is we need to find out what our actual costs are. So let's walk through that. Let's say we spent $20 on gas. Then we have to find out how much our equipment was. Okay, now prices are going up a lot. So let's say the outdoor unit, the indoor unit, the actual machine that you bought, if you're in HVAC or if you're in plumbing, maybe it's a water heater, I don't know. So this example is for an HVAC machine. So let's say we spent $3,500 on it. It's pretty cheap nowadays with the cost rising. All right, let's say we spent $800 for a subcontractor. Some people use subcontractors. Some people use a crew, right? So you would adjust for that. Materials, let's say we spent about $300 in materials, straps, tape, mastic, all that stuff. All right. So right there off the bat, we've invested $4,600 on the job. We already spent almost $5,000 on the job. It's wiped out. Now over here is going to show you the percentage of the job. I go over that in the rest of the Know Your Numbers course. We talk about where your cost of goods should be. That's not for this video. This is just about pricing. Okay, now let's go into some other expenses. Now, one thing that's really interesting is usually we have financing fees involved in when we have a bank doing financing. Usually it's around 5 to 7%. So let's say we have a really good deal here and we're getting charged 5%. You would have to go in and find out how much your dealer fees are. We all have different dealer fees, all right? And if you're a heating and cooling professional or plumbing or electrical, you know what I'm talking about. You offer financing and the bank takes a percentage. You have to account for that. That's a huge expense, 5% of the entire job. So let's put that on there. We already have our equipment cost. Anything that you spend, it could be any additional expense, right? So right now we just have $500 as an additional expense. Okay, let's say we have some technicians on the job in addition to the actual install crew or the subcontractor. How much are you paying them? If you have a lead technician, maybe he's at about $25 an hour. If you burden that pay, and we'll talk about pay burdening in the Know Your Numbers course, okay? Let's say you have that lead tech and a junior tech on the job and you have them for 4 hours doing a startup. You spent another $200 there. Okay, what about commission? Do you pay commission to your sales reps or to the technicians to turn that lead over to the job? Let's put that because that's a cost. All right, right now, in this example, our total cost of goods are already $55, $53. Now, whether you consider a commission a cost of goods, that's up to you. Either way, it's a cost. Okay. Now, this is usually the missing part here is the overhead. Yes, all of your overhead, it comes out of every single job that you do. If you have someone working in the office, that person's pay comes from the jobs you do. If you advertise, that money for the ads comes from the jobs you do. If you ever want to advertise, you have to put that budget into the jobs you do. So typically when we price our profit from jobs and we don't look at the overhead, that's just a gross profit. We have to know what the true net profit is, and this is what most people miss. All right, so let's put some in here. Let's say I want to spend 5% in advertising this year. 5% of my total income I want to put into advertising because I want an advertising budget. Right now, off of this job, 5% is going to come out of this, which is $475. All right, if I have rent, I would put that in there. Owner's salary, all of that would be a part of my overhead. Now, if you purchase this document, if you have it already, then you know that your overhead percentage is on this page, on the first page, because you put all of your overhead numbers in here and you put the total amount that you made last year, and it's going to calculate your percentage. So if you have this document, you already know what your overhead is. So this overhead in this example is 33%. So off of every single job that I do, 33% is coming out to pay the overhead. So let's take a look at this example. So I just randomly guessed $9,500. I think that's a good price because that's what everyone else is charging. I'm actually spending $8,700 to do this job, and my net profit is only $783, a total of 8%. The price sounded good, but it wasn't good. How much do I have to charge with my overhead being 33%, my cost here, the equipment being $3,500, and these are not crazy numbers here. How much would I have to charge this job to make a decent net profit? Now let's shoot for 20%. All right, let's see what happens if I charged $11,000. 15%, okay, I'm still kind of tight, right? I went up almost $2,000 and still not that good. Okay, let's go to 12,000. Now we're looking a little bit better, Let's shoot for 15,000. So you see how you can play around and really see how much money you're actually making to determine your prices. Look at that. At 25%, I would have to charge $14,000 for this job if these were my actual costs here. Now you see what's happening here? If I just assume and just go off my competitors, I can lose a lot of money. And this is one of the things that I do to check my costs. I mean, who would know that an install would actually be costing me $10,000 to do, right? So actually cost to actually do the job, physically do the job, is your cost of goods. In this case, it's costing me $4,600. But with my overhead and everything, I'm spending $10,300. You see what's happening here? So you cannot price your jobs based on what your competitors are doing. So do you see what is happening here? Do you see how important this is? All right, so let's take a look at a couple other things when we talk about pricing our jobs, right? Because every situation may be a little bit different. Now, of course, every time I change the jobs, it's going to be different. If I'm installing a 2-ton unit or a 3-ton unit or a 4-ton unit, every price is going to be a little bit different. So you're going to want to proactively go in and price your jobs. And you're going to want to have to job cost after each job, because you may have bought some materials that you didn't realize you're going to buy. Maybe it took a little longer for you to do the job. All of that is going to affect your jobs, and you're not going to know what's happening unless you're going after the fact on all your jobs and pulling all the receipts and putting them in to make sure you're not missing something. So you're going to do this proactively, and you're going to do it retroactively. Okay, so now let's take a look at something. What happens if you price too high? Let's say you price this job at $22,000 and you made 40%. Okay, some people say, well, I shoot for 40%. That's your business. Every business is different. If you shoot for 40%, that's fine. But what can you do if your margins are very high? If I'm clearing 50, 60%, well, one, you could pay your people more, right? There's different things that you can do. So, but that's more in the Know Your Numbers course. This is an easy way to price your jobs. You can do this on this document. If you purchase this document, it makes it easy. And as you can see here, really quickly, my overhead percentage is coming from here. But you can do all of this on your own. If you want to pull your own P&L, you can pull all of your overhead in there. You can take a pen and a paper. That's what I love about YouTube, like this, and you can do it yourself. Or you can use this document. It comes with the instructions and everything, and even comes with my full pricing course. So put in the comments if you have any questions. I'll try to address them. Of course, the link to this document is in the description. Have a wonderful day. Go change the world.